welcome back to my channel, and we are going to do part 2 of the Cemetery Boys reading vlog. So today is Thursday, September 15th, so it is the first day of Latinx Heritage Month. So happy Latinx Heritage Month to all of my Latinx family. I hope you guys are having a good day. I only read up to chapter 2 last night because I was very tired. I did journal some more. My baby boy. It's also my cat's birthday. Happy birthday, baby. So I only journaled up to chapter 2. I had a lot more complex feelings and emotions for that chapter. Oh no. So, I'm going to be reading a few more chapters. I'm done with classes for the day. So I hope you enjoy. So what are you guys reading for Latinx Heritage Month? Are you doing the Latinx book bingo or the Latinx-a-thon? I'm technically participating in an unofficial capacity, so I'm only going to read a couple books, and that includes Cemetery Boys, Clap When You Land, and probably Sal and Gabby Break the Universe. I think that's the first book in the series. But yeah, so we will see. For my second reading vlog, I want to do something a little bit different. I figured it would be a little bit more interesting to hear my thoughts while I read rather than just watching me read. It is actually Thursday now, September 17th to be exact, and it's been an interesting few days. I had CA rounds last night for my job, and the fire alarm went off early this morning, not a drill, and I had to wrangle a 50-pound cat, which was not fun. But I'm currently on chapter 10 at the time of recording, and holy shit, I feel so represented in this book. While my experience as a Latinx person is very different when compared to Yadriel's, there's a lot of similarities, and my experience as someone who is gender fluid and identifies as a lesbian is very different to his as a gay trans guy. But again, a lot of similarities. With that being said, I feel like I have been waiting for this book, waiting for this story my entire life. And there's this sadness and this joy that I have surrounding this book. Sadness in that it took so long and so much fighting to get this book published and books like this published, and sadness that the story was not available to me when I was younger. But there's this joy that it is here now in my hands and in the hands of so many kids and teens who need this book just as much as I did, just as much as I currently do. And there is joy in the celebration of Latinx culture. Yadriel is so fierce and determined, and while there is some doubt in him, I can sense that there is some untapped confidence in him. There is this confidence that he has in both of his identities as a man and as a brujo. In chapter 2, Yadriel is misgendered and dead-named by several family members, and I felt the rage and the pain and the embarrassment he felt. I don't know if I am interpreting this correctly, but I love that Yadriel's identity as a brujo and as a man are at peace within him. However, that there is this outward war with him and his family. If he embraces being a bruje fully as his family wishes, he would have to deny his transness. If he wishes to embrace his transness, he must deny himself the opportunity to become a brujo. And I was so happy and fucking ecstatic when he didn't have to compromise on either. He is a brujo, and his identity was validated and embraced by Lady Death, who granted him his full powers as a brujo. And I just love Maritza. I love how clever and loyal she is. She's a little sneaky, but she's so bright and colorful with her personality. I love how confident she is. I love that she's unwilling to compromise on her values and goals, and she just, the fucking jokes about the zodiac signs, about Julian being a Scorpio and invading Yadriel's Cancer safe space made me laugh so hard. I go to a historically women's institution, so there's a lot of astrology, I'm gonna say bullshit here, but I love her, and the bond that she has with Yadriel is so strong, and it reminds me a lot about my own relationship with my cousin, where it's less like cousins and more like siblings. Honestly, I do call my cousin Cleo my familial soulmate because she and I are that close, and Yadriel's and Maritza's connection is as strong as steel. And then there's Julian, and I may be gay, but I think that I might be in love with this boy. I have a weakness for bad boys and girls with a heart of gold, and Julian is no exception. The loyalty and the bravery and the recklessness and the impulsivity, he is just the best. I actually had to Google the meaning of a St. Jude's medal. I had medals when I was growing up. I had a St. Anthony one, who was my confirmation saint, but I didn't know the meaning. I'm going to let you guys Google it for yourself, but I do think the meaning is very poetic, and even though it is kind of early in the book, and I'm sure it's going to be brought up and tied into a little bit story, I think it fits Julian's character very well. I already ship Yadrian, hashtag Yadrian. Their dynamic is so playful and easy, and I love that they're allowed to exist fully with each other. The side characters, like Julian's crew, are not entirely three-dimensional, but they're still full of life. I love that Julian does not hang out with cishets, because that is the most accurate representation of the queer experience. I have only 2 cishet friends, and one of them might not even be straight, so I'm clearly in love with this book. Please enjoy this footage of me making flan because it is Latinx Heritage Month. I live in La Casa Hispanica with a bunch of other Latinx students and people studying Spanish. I thought I would treat my residents to some flan. This is my mom's recipe, so you can see me microwaving cream cheese to get it to soften. My partner is Filipino, and they said that it's weird to add cream cheese, and one of my friends saw me making this and said, "Oh, you're making cheesecake flan?" And I answered, "No, I'm just making regular flan." So do you add cream cheese to your flan? I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with the book. I'm just really curious. For my next vlog, I'll talk a little bit more about how I journal, and maybe I'll show you some attempts at Yadriel and Julian fan art. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, adios hermanos.